Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. Joined with me, as always, is my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty swell, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited, actually. Every podcast we've done to this point has been wrestling related. We love wrestling. We love wrestling, but we also love boxing. And a part of our platform is boxing. And so tonight we are going to be launching our very first boxing edition of Samp and Chance. Getting right into it, the way we're gonna go, I guess, is we're just gonna go forward. We're not gonna really look too far back. So everything going forward on here now will be what we want to talk about. But we will maybe go back 3 weeks and just quickly talk about the junior welterweight title that was up for grabs. All four belts were up for grabs. Josh Taylor, the champion, going up against Jack Petrell. Um, I don't know, man. A lot of people, no one's wrong. He was robbed. Cottrell was robbed. Like he was outboxed. At least that first 8 rounds, he was outboxed. He was knocked down in the eighth round, even. That's a 10-8 round. Um, I don't know. The judges just got this really, really wrong.
Only one judge had it right. The other two judges had it wrong. I don't know what they were seeing. They should borrow your glasses because something's wrong with their vision, dude. Because that was an absolute disgrace. And that
Yeah,
what hurts the sport of boxing, that kind of stuff.
that
Clearly,
that really
it's crazy.
no, that really hurts boxing. I mean, the fact that these things still happen in boxing. See, I can accept it in UFC to a certain extent. Um, because UFC is still a young sport, and I believe they're still kind of judging on a boxing kind of platform, with like criteria sort of a deal. So that's expected there. But even in UFC, I don't think these scores would have been justified. So just for everyone, it was a split decision. 13, 113, 112 for Cottrell, 114-11 Josh
That's
Taylor,
crazy.
113, 112 Josh Taylor. I mean,
I don't know what
that
to say to that, dude. It's
uh,
absolutely nuts.
right? I mean, okay, two of them got it wrong, completely wrong, but that one guy just really, really got it wrong.
I don't know what he was watching. I don't understand. Maybe because he thought that Taylor was coming forward more. I don't know. I'm not sure what I can't even justify it.
Yeah, no, I mean, both guys had points taken off as well. I mean,
Well, dude,
Taylor, yeah,
Jack Jack landed 120 power shots, but
mhm,
Taylor only landed 73.
yeah,
It's almost double right there. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was total punches actually. It was 120 total punches, 73 total punches, uh,
Yeah,
81
sorry, I read that wrong. Yes, you're right.
81 power punches to his 57, 39 to his 16 in terms of jabs. And as I was saying before, both guys got a point knocked off. I mean, Cottrell got his knocked off in the 10th round for hooking, for holding too much, sorry. And Josh got his taken off for tapping him after the round, sort of a deal. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it was just really, really bad. And the worst part is Taylor's moving up,
I know.
right? And that's what really, really kind of pisses me off now. It's like I think more than anything, what makes me mad is like, you could have kept all four belts together. The right guy would have won. You would have still had the unified champion. I think that's what everybody wants in boxing, anyways. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later, as boxing as a whole. But I don't know, man. And he's moving up, so now those are all going to be split up. And the worst part I feel is that Cottrell stepped aside initially to let him fight,
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
to let him fight. What's his name, to unify,
Yeah, he did. Dick the step aside money.
right? No, it wasn't even step aside money. I believe he just said, "Hey, listen, you know what? I'm just gonna stand by and let you do your thing, and everything is everything."
I thought he got paid for that. He didn't get paid for that one?
I don't think he did. No, because they never talked about it. Jose Ramirez.
Okay.
He said like that because he beat him to unify the title, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's
So
right.
right. So initially he was actually supposed to fight Cottrell for his two belts that he had at the time, but Cottrell said, "No, you know what? Go ahead, fight him. Come back. We'll unify.
Very
I'll
honorable to
fight
do
for the
that.
unified." Right. But now, I mean, how much money has this man lost?
I don't know the number, but what's next for Cottrell? Is he going to get a rematch out of this or what?
Well, I'm assuming that if he's moving up, he's probably going to be fighting for one of those titles, if not all four. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, nothing's really been announced yet, you know.
Well, what a
So
performance by Cottrell, though, man. He fought hard. He fought crisp. He was in there. He was 8-1 underdog before the fight happened, and he just came in there and kicked some butt.
he came into work. He came
Yeah,
into work. He was moving forward. I mean, he was working. His 1-2 combination was amazing.
yeah.
He was just connecting really, really well. I mean, he was fluid. He was really he was warmed up. You know, he was warm. He was ready to go. Josh just looked really, really frightened under the lights. So
Josh
much
took a
pressure.
couple. I think Josh took a couple big punches early, and it kind of stung a little bit, and it kind of you could see that Cottrell was gaining more confidence, and Taylor he didn't capitalize. He let him get his confidence, and once that happened, you know,
Well,
just put him back.
I think Josh was a victim of fighting at home. You know, under the
Exactly.
lights, the crowd, everything, all the stuff leading up to the week. I mean, if you're fighting at home, everybody wants the tickets, everybody wants that, even more obligations. There's a lot more pressure. I mean,
He got a hometown discount on that decision. Absolutely.
he lucked out, you know. So, but you know what? Let's kind of maybe move on from that.
Yeah. Terrible
But
decision.
we I really want to touch on this really quick before we kind of get into anything else. The Klitschko's, Usyk, Lomo. Wow, respect.
Warriors, man.
Very
Warriors.
much so, very much so. Um, it's kind of crappy all that's kind of happening, man.
I think
It's
I
really
think
sad.
Lomachenko's doing it too.
Yeah, Lomo's gone too.
Almost gone too.
He was one of the last ones to join. Apparently, he went to Greece first to make sure his family was safe, set them up there, and then he came back to the country. And yeah, all four of those guys are kind of doing their thing. Here's
Much
something
respect.
interesting though, eh? The Klitschko's are kind of wanting to stop the Canelo fight in May. They don't think Bibble deserves to fight.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that. Bibble's got nothing to do with this, right? I mean, let the man fight. I mean, you can't control what your government does, right? I mean,
It's happening across the board, man. I mean,
no, it's happening everywhere. I get it. They're trying to shut Putin down. I get it.
you
It just
know,
sucks for athletes, you know?
no, it totally sucks
Where
for
does it
them. I
stop?
mean,
So Bivol can't fight Canelo, then should Ovechkin be kicked out of the NHL? Where do we stop?
that's a bigger scale, though. I mean, it's kind of easier to probably do these kind of things at individual sport levels.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's coming up next? It'd be the French Open, so no Russian players can play in that. You know, it's very,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to happen across the board. In the UFC London, I think there's supposed to be a heavyweight fight in there where one of the guys is Russian and he can't get in. He can't get into the country.
They won't let him in, yeah.
So
I
even
get it.
he can't fight.
You got to send a message to Putin to stop this. I don't disagree with that. It just sucks for the athletes, you know, that have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean?
I personally
We
think
can't be
there's
held accountable for what our government does. I mean, we got a putz in for our leader too. You know what I mean? We're not going to be held accountable for what he does. I know he's not doing it on that scale, but it just sucks for the athletes, is what I'm saying. You know, they have nothing to do with it.
yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I think this is the most political we're gonna get on the whole situation.
Yeah,
But I only bring that up because it's kind of interesting because Lomo is kind of scheduled. I don't know. I don't think anything's been finalized on that, but Lomo's supposed to fight Cambosos in Australia in
yeah. I'm not
June.
sure what's happening with that. And then I heard today that Usyk was going to probably step aside, and Joshua's probably going to fight Wilder.
I read something about that. I don't know. Is
Not
that for?
official, but
Yeah, it's
that's
not
what's going to
official,
happen.
but you know, I don't think Usyk should have to step aside. I think he should remain champion, and there should be maybe an interim championship in the meantime. Uh, there's I that's completely off for me, man. Usyk earned those titles. He's
Oh
an
yeah,
amazing fighter. Um, Joshua can say what he wants to say. He didn't come to fight that night. He came in with the wrong
that's
style.
a few times Joshua's done this. It happened before. You know, he's a good boxer, but it seems when the lights get bright, he doesn't show up.
Nah, he
All
shows up, man. He shows up. I think he just tries different things and they didn't work out the two times. I mean, the way he came back against Ruiz, he figured it out. He knew what he had to do.
yeah,
The way he should have fought Usyk was more of a strength and power style opposed to what he was trying to do. And yeah, he got caught and that kind of just threw him off his game completely.
yeah.
Joshua is still a student of the game. I'm not saying he's the best or anything, but I mean,
No, he's a great fighter.
his losses, those two losses have tarnished him, obviously. But
He's a top five heavyweight for sure.
oh, for sure. But I think you do an interim title instead of him stepping aside, taking the belt off of me. That's not cool, man.
Yeah, he's fighting for a great cause, right? He has to defend his
Yeah,
country. So
yeah. But hey, let's get into some fights here, man. Some
let's do it.
amazing. April is amazing.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I'm excited, dude.
April is going to be off the chain, as I don't think the kids say that anymore, do they?
Well, starting it off, April 9th is Triple G fighting in Japan against
So
Murata.
yeah, you got a couple fights there, man. Triple G has to win this fight, and if Canelo wins his fight, those guys will probably be fighting in September.
What sucks about April 9th is that Triple G's fighting the same day Garcia's fighting. Different
Yeah.
time. You can watch both.
Well, they're in Japan. It's going to be easy. The fight
Yeah.
in Japan will be in the afternoon. Um, you're
And
looking at
Garcia's
about
fighting in Texas, so
yeah. So that's going to be a good fight. I think the Garcia fight's kind of interesting. It's his first fight since January 2021. So he's almost going over a year and a few months. Yeah, a
it
year
is
and
14 months.
14 months since he's put him
A
on. No,
long
16.
layoff, dude.
No. 14 to be 16. Yeah, 16 months, right? 14 months.
14 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad. 14 months since he hasn't fought. He dropped Eddie Reneso as his trainer. He's not a part of Team Canelo anymore.
Mm.
He's gone with my man, the Jay Leno of professional boxing, Joe Goosen. Love that guy, man. Love his commentary. He always cracks me up.
Yeah. That'll be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I really want to see the Triple G fight. I hope Triple G wins because I want him to fight rematch Canelo in September. So I want Triple G for the victory. I think he should win, but he is fighting in Buddy's home country, so we'll see what happens.
Well, let's find out. I mean, I think he's on a mission now. He sees what's on the horizon and his potential last big payday. I think after that fight, win, lose, or draw, he'll probably just kind of sail off in the sunset. I
Yeah, he is
think
39 years old now. So
Well, I think Canelo Triple G Part 3 should have happened maybe 3, 4 years ago.
yeah,
3 years ago, maybe.
definitely advantage Canelo because he's younger, right? So
Well, here's the thing. I don't, and with all due respect, man, since their second fight, I don't think Triple G's gotten any better. He's good, he's great, but he hasn't improved upon what he was from then. Where Canelo's gotten better and stronger,
yeah, he looks scary.
right? I don't think I think he just beats the shit out of him.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, Canelo's definitely the favorite going into that. I love Triple G, but even I got to admit
All
it.
right. I'll take that back. I think he definitively beats him this time. There will be no questions.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a few years ago, right? I mean, Triple G's almost 40, right? Like, holy cow!
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. Like I said, both guys got to get through these two fights first
And we'll see what
in order
happens.
for that to happen, right? So let's see what happens here. What else is coming up here, Sam?
Then we got the one that the second best fight of April, I think, and myself is Ugos versus Earl Spence Jr. live from Jerry's World.
Oh,
For
and
those of
Jerry's
us who don't know what that is, that's Texas Stadium where the Cowboys play
home of WrestleMania.
and home WrestleMania.
Stupendous. So we threw a little bit of wrestling in there, man.
That Ugos
Um,
Spence fight's going to be amazing, dude. Amazing fight.
Yeah. What's your take on it? Well, hey, you saw Ugas fight, right? You saw him fight live. What did you make of him?
Well, he ruined my trip to Vegas because he beat my favorite fighter. But this guy's tough. He's smart. He's well skilled. He's well coached. And you know what? He's a very respectful guy. He's very humble. Well, I got nothing but respect for this guy. I mean, Errol Spence is more talented. He's quicker. He's a little bit younger. But you guys could upset him here. It's not going to be a walk in the park. If Earl doesn't bring his A game, he could find out what Manny Pacquiao find out. That
Well,
could be a
here,
loss. What do
right,
you
yeah.
think?
Well, here's my take on it, man. It's 9 out of 10 times I think Spence beats him.
Okay.
9 out of 10 times, right? Here's what I found interesting about Ugas. Now, to be completely honest, I didn't know too much about Ugas until he fought Pacquiao. So I had to go back a little bit to see some of his other fights after the Pacquiao fight, that is, just to kind of see what this guy's done, how did he get here, sort of a deal, just to understand it.
Mhm.
And after watching some of his old fights, I started to notice something. very different from the way he was fighting against Pacquiao. Um, the way he fought before Pacquiao, in some of the fights that I saw, he was very aggressive, very strong. So very strength and aggressive based kind of boxing. Not much boxing from the outside, mainly just strength and power, like I was saying, and no really quickness. And he was, really flat-footed. You know what I mean? So he was just in there to attack and just, whatever he had to do, sort of a deal. Whereas against Pacquiao, he came in with a very different style. So I don't know if Pacquiao was training for aggressive and power-based style where he thought he was going to dance around him and whatnot. Keeping in mind, Pac did have a leg injury, which he never disclosed till after the
He
fight,
did, yeah.
and this he never used as an excuse. But that being said, I don't know if that kind of disrupted him. But Ugos came out throwing jabs, range and distance. He was showing
Oh yeah,
things that he's never really shown before. He was on his feet a bit more. He was moving around. He was confusing Pacquiao, I found,
he
both
did.
offensively and defensively, not letting Pacquiao really get into a rhythm or anything like that. I don't know. Am I right? Or do you think what do
Yeah,
you
you're
think?
right. I mean, Pocky couldn't get away from that jab. He knew it was coming, and he just his legs were hurt, no excuse, but he just couldn't get out of the way. And Ugos was smart, just kept smashing him with it. You know what I mean? And he won the fight fair and square. No excuses. He was the better man that night,
Yeah.
and he's on the map now. This is a big chance for him. You could beat Pocky and then beat Errol Spence.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, whoever wins this should be fighting Bud next, right? Unify that
Needs to
title.
happen. Yeah, the winner needs to fight Crawford. No more excuses. No
That's
more.
the only reason I'd want Ugas to win. Well, I mean, I want to. You know what? That's not cool. I like to see whoever wins this fight because I do like both guys a lot,
Yeah,
right?
me too. Yeah.
But when I say the main reason I would say I'd want Ugas to win is primarily for the fact that he would actually go and fight
Oh
Pac,
yeah, he'll fight anybody.
right? So
Next
you
man
have
up,
you
Ugos will
have
fight.
a greater chance of unification with Ugas and Crawford, opposed to um, Errol and Bud.
This Spence Crawford things like Pacquiao, Mayweather, of 10 years ago, right? I don't want them to wait too long until they're past their prime before they get at it. Let's get at it now.
I
Give
think
the
there's
fans what they
enough.
want, and
I think
that's what
there's
UFC has. Dana White makes the best fight the best. We don't have that in boxing all the time.
Well, I think it's happening slowly but surely. Like, as we were leading up to this, these fights were announced, and we were thinking,
Mm.
what are they going to be the big fights this year? What are we going to see? We know so and so is going to fight. We know so and so is going to fight. But so far some of these fights are just pretty cool, man.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
April. I mean, it's stacked.
Well,
But
after the Ugos fight, fast forward a week later, April 23rd from Wembley Stadium, we got the greatest heavyweight in the world, Tyson Fury against Dillian White, live from Wembley. It's going to be a great fight, man.
it's gonna be a great fight. But let's take two steps back and give our predictions for that fight because we never really finished that off yet, my man.
I'm gonna take Ugos in an upset decision.
Who got upset in decision? Okay, I am gonna say the same. And I'm going to agree with you, but I'm going to throw something else in. If Ugas comes in fighting strength and power, then Spence will win, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, Spence could
Right?
win.
Yeah, Spence can. That I think that will suit him better if he comes out fighting that way. So
Yep.
I'm curious to see. But if he does fight the way he fought against Pacquiao, I think he can pull it off. I think he'll pull it
Good.
off. Right?
Be a big upset,
But
but we'll
yeah,
see.
let's hope for the best. But yes, let's now fly over to Wembley Stadium for the heavyweight title champion WBC on the line. Finally, Dillian White, after years of waiting, he finally gets a shot at the title. Um, Getting knocked out by Pulev kind of took a little bit of luster off of him, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
still think it's going to be a really fun fight. I do think he's dangerous. I do think he does pose a threat to Tyson. I think I'm just excited to see Tyson fight someone else finally
yeah, me
in a
too.
while. So that's pretty cool as well. He's saying he's going to retire after this fight. Do you think so?
No, I don't buy it. Just hype to sell the fight. I mean, he could. Yeah, he's got nothing to prove, but I think he wants to take down Usyk and Joshua before he calls it a night. But he might. But either way, you don't want to take a chance. You got to watch this fight. And Fury's probably the most entertaining boxer in boxing. The way he hypes up the fight, his talk, he's just hilarious. The Twitter stuff he does, the videos, and trash talking these guys, it sells the fight. It's great, great entertainment.
He's brutally honest, bro.
Yeah,
And that's what I love about him. I love his energy. I
Oh
mean, the
yeah,
press conference was so fun to watch. I mean, at the press conference, Dillian White didn't show up. I mean, they
yeah.
offered to fly him out. They offered to do everything. I think that's really unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. He's
Well,
lucky
it
to be in the
is.
ring with Fury, dude. Fury's the A side. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't think Fury should be fighting him. Fury should be fighting Usyk or Joshua, right? That's the
Yeah.
money fight, right?
You know what? But at the time, it doesn't make sense for Joshua to be fighting for a title unless he's got his own title that he's trying to go
Yeah,
after,
no, I get it, but those are the
right?
fights that people want to
I
see.
get it. I get it. But circumstances unfortunately dictate us
Mm.
not to get them. But that being said, Dillian deserves a shot, man. I mean, all that, he does deserve a shot. I don't know what kind of game he's playing. Maybe he's afraid. Maybe he doesn't want to be close to Tyson Fury because of the mind games that Tyson can play.
That's possible.
He
That's
doesn't want to get caught into that, right? But I mean, if Dillian White's at home watching the press conference, Tyson's already in your head, bro.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that face off against the poster, that was
yeah.
amazing. That was fun.
Well, Tyson's amazing, dude.
He's really good. He's brutally honest.
He's
Um,
exciting boxer in the world right now, as far
no,
as
no doubt.
entertainment goes and selling the
Well,
fight. Like, he's great.
if you were to close your eyes and listen to Big John Fury and Tyson Fury talk, would you be able to tell the difference?
They talk pretty similar, man.
Right?
What about you?
Their voices are identical. You know how that happened?
How?
So Tyson apparently never spoke like that. If you go to his earlier fights and you listen to his interviews, he actually sounds like Tommy Fury.
Okay,
His voice actually is kind of clear and it's not so raspy. He got punched in the throat by the old man, I believe he was saying,
that's what happened.
in a sparring session or something like that, and that's how his voice ended up that way.
Okay.
Big John scares me, man. Like that dude's crazy.
Oh yeah.
It was, I think, just last week when they were doing the press conference for that. Carl Frampton, who's the BT sports analyst in England, um, he was saying on one of his shows on BT that he felt that Tommy would lose to Jake Paul if they were to fight. So John Fury confronted him at that press conference, and today
Yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah. I
watching.
seen that.
He's like, "What are you talking about? Get out of my face! I don't even want to see you." Just and then someone was talking to him today about that, and he said, "Yeah, man, I was like shitting my pants." Like he was scared. Like, and this is a former boxer himself, man.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, pretty funny, pretty funny. The Furies are the dynasty of boxing over there right now, man.
Oh, dude. Fury's the best heavyweight in the world, man, and he's undefeated. He's only got one draw, right? And the record speaks for itself.
Yeah. All
So
right, so that's gonna be a pretty cool fight. You know what? I'm just gonna. I don't know if we're ready to make predictions on it. I want to see a bit more of the build up on this to see what's going on, and
for what, Fury?
yeah, for the Fury
Well,
fight.
I'll make my prediction right now. Fury's gonna knock him out. This guy's going down. Just
You,
like Wilder, he's gonna get smashed. I mean, Dillian White's no joke. Don't get me wrong. Fury's gonna finish him.
but
Yeah,
Dillian can box where Wilder was just one punch.
yeah, but Dillian White doesn't have that same kind of power Wilder has. So I mean, Fury's not going to be as hesitant. He's gonna walk this guy down and hammer him out.
I hope he's a bit more cautious than that, man. In my personal
Well, I don't
opinion.
mean in a few rounds, but I don't know what
Yeah.
rounds going to go down. But Fury will knock him out.
Well, if he comes out cocky, he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him, anyways. If he plays it smart, it should be Fury all the way, right?
Oh yeah, Fury's gonna win.
I mean, remember, lest we forget Oscar Wovine and what he did to him.
Yep, but he still got the win though. But
He
yeah,
got the win, but I'm just saying.
I mean, anything can
Just
happen in a heavyweight fight. These boys hit hard, but Fury is definitely on a whole other level.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who knows?
And then coming up, April 30th, ladies and gentlemen, Samp&Chance will be on the road for this one. Samp&Chance are going to be in Vegas for the Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez unification fight.
Live from the beautiful MGM Grand Garden Arena from the fight capital, baby. Can't wait. Oh,
Yeah, it's
baby.
going to be fun, man. This is my first trip out that way. So I'm really, really excited for that. This is going to be really exciting. Shakur Stevenson, man, what he's got to say. I think he's the future. I think this kid's going to win
Oh,
it
he's an
all.
amazing fighter. He's crisp. He's smooth. He hits hard. Great footwork. He's got it all, man. He's got it
And
all.
I've been following him on Twitter as well. And I like the cut of this kid's jib,
Yeah.
sorry. And his jab. I like his jab too. But the cut of his jib, he's a good kid. I like him. I'm kind of, excited to see what's going on here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. I mean, Valdez is no slouch either, but I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting fight. We'll get into this a little bit more closer to the date. We'll break it down further,
Yeah.
and we'll kind of, give you guys our take on it, and hopefully we can share some details of what we hope to accomplish down in Vegas, and see what we can muster up and gain some support for us
Who
and
knows
for
who will end
our
up on the
brand.
show? Who knows will come on our show that weekend? But look out,
Well,
somebody.
hey, we're gonna do the best that we possibly can. I'm going down there with my work boots on, and I'm gonna just, we're gonna do the best we can. I can't wait. I'm really excited for this.
Oh yeah.
But that same night, probably the history-making fight for women's boxing, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, unification fight. Wow, this is finally happening. I'm really
That,
excited.
the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden, I might add.
Yeah, not the Hulu Theater, the
Madison Square Garden.
main Madison's MSG. I'm really excited for this. I am very, very hyped. Boxing for women has only been around since 1989. Um, it's been a really hard road for them. Layla Ali, one of the many pioneers that
Yeah.
have kind of come up through this with them. But I'm excited for this fight. I really, really am. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
It's
I
gonna be
think,
good.
Katie Taylor's been amazing. Serrano's been amazing. They both, really worked their backs off. I think Katie Taylor's had the easier road working with Eddie Hearns and everything, in terms of payouts and, actual paydays and spotlight and whatnot. I think Amanda is coming with a bit of a harder road into this fight. Um, you know, Fighting for really, really, I guess maybe, peanuts literally at times.
Yeah.
So, it's really good to see this. And say what you want about Jake Paul. I'm still undecided on him for the most part, but I gotta give the man respect for this. I appreciate what he's trying to do for the sport. I appreciate, I guess to a certain extent, without not knowing if he has an agenda to it for himself, what he's trying to do for these girls and guys, for pay and whatnot. Um, yeah, it's
I
just
don't think he has an agenda. I just think he wants people to get paid more. I don't think it's an agenda. If you look at his fights when he's the main guy, he takes a little bit less of the purse so that people on the undercard get paid a little more. So I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. You might be right, man. I'm just saying because I mean, you
I'm
never
not saying he's
know.
a little bit of a goofball, but I think when it comes to the money side, he's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to see past the goofball list as well. Maybe that's his stick. Maybe
But
that's
it's
his.
working though because everybody's talking about him. People watch his
Yeah.
fights. Something's working.
No, both those brothers, they're doing their thing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
hate them, love them. At the end of the day, you got to give them their professional respect.
Yeah. I mean, they're
You know?
tough guys. I mean, they went in there with Tyrone Woodley. He knocked him out. The other brother was stood in there with Mayweather. I mean, he didn't go down. So I mean, he's way bigger than Mayweather. Don't get me wrong, but still,
Yeah.
they
But
train hard, man. They're hard workers.
yeah, well, let's see what they do. Let's see what they
Yeah.
do here. That's April 30th. So that kind of closes out April. I mean, wow, April looked pretty sick, eh?
April's loaded, dude.
I'll be
Loaded.
honest, man. These are the
Four big
days that
fights.
these are the days that I wish I lived in Vegas.
Yes.
You know?
When you go down there, dude, and you just feel the fight atmosphere, and you walk into the MGM and you see the ring, you see all the shirts. You look at the elevators; they're going to have Valdez and Stevenson on the elevators, and it's a real cool experience. You're going to love it, dude.
Yeah, I plan to film it all, man, as much as I possibly can, from the moment that we step on the plane to the moment that we step out of the arena.
We'll try to get in the way if we can. If we can't, oh well, but we'll try to get into them.
Yeah, we'll try everything, man. I mean, no harm, no foul. I mean, that's what we do. We grind, man. We push forward and we win. And yeah, so that's April. I'm
Speaking of Vegas, April 30th, following week, May 7th, at T-Mobile Arena, it's Bivol versus Canelo.
Wow,
So
yeah, right. That's pretty crazy.
yeah,
That's the one that Canelo has to win. And I think that's at 175. Last
yeah,
time he was at 175, he beat the shit out of Kovalev.
yeah. Oh, he smashed him.
Smashed him. Nice.
Yeah.
Bivol's tall though. Bivol has power.
Oh yeah. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but Canelo should edge it out.
Yeah. I think what Bivol needs to do is basically just try to work that body a bit more. 'Cause I noticed in some of his other fights that he doesn't work the body as much.
Yeah.
You know,
Right
he's
now,
kind
Canelo's
of,
on a whole other level. He just looks so good,
well, let's see, man. Let's see. That might not actually happen. I mean,
Yeah, it might not.
The Klitschko brothers are kind of asking for Bivol not to fight, to not
Yeah,
to
no, I
be.
get that. I get that. I don't disagree with that. I think it just sucks for Bivol. He has nothing to do with it, but I understand why that is.
I get it, man. But let's find out. We don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know that. So
We don't know. Hopefully, the
those,
fight happens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So those are the most recent and up and coming fights. I believe I heard something about Tank versus Romero. I don't
He's
have the
going
date on
down.
that. Yeah, it is going down.
Going down. Yeah, I just had it right here. Hold on, dude. I'll pull it right back up. I was just looking at it, dude.
No, no worries, no worries.
Going down on the. But I'm excited for April. That's a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
month.
It's in June. I believe it's June.
June 4th,
June
Tank
4th.
Davis versus Romero.
Okay,
No
perfect.
destination where the fight's going to be, but June 4th.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
I
So we
like
got
Tank Davis,
that.
man. He's a solid fighter.
Yeah, man. Fantastic. So yeah, what else is on your mind, man? Anything you want to talk about?
I'm excited for April, man. We got WrestleMania. We got Ugos fight. We got Fury fight. We got the fight we're going to be at. Like, it's Christmas for us.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, brother, no doubt. What are
Just
your
like,
so
go ahead.
what do you think of the future here, man? How do you foresee the rest of the year playing out then? And if April looks like it is, what can we see on the horizon, do you think? Or is it going to be a boring year for the rest of it?
No, well, we got Triple G Canelo most likely. Hopefully, Fury fights again. And then the winner of Ugos Spence hopefully fights Bud Crawford because
Yeah,
Crawford
yeah,
doesn't have
yeah.
any fights lined up.
No, he doesn't. And all these fights can actually happen. That's the interesting part of it as well, right?
Oh, we forgot. We
Um,
got Cambosa. Who's he going to be fighting? I haven't heard. That'd be great
who?
too. I love that guy.
Who?
Cambosa. Who's he fighting? They haven't
Well,
announced it.
George is supposed to fight. It's tentative right now for June 5th, I believe, in Australia. I mean, if it's not going to be Lomo, then I guess it's probably going to be Haney,
That'd be a good fight too.
right?
I preferably rather see Lomo, but I'm fine with Haney too. If that's what happens, I'll take it.
Uh,
Cambosa's exciting, man.
I'd rather see Lomo, but I would prefer Haney just for the fact that you can get another unified champion.
Yeah.
And that brings me to this thing, man. I I understand the four belt system, but I'm not a fan of the system, man. I don't like it. I think it should just be one champion for each division.
I totally agree with you on that, man.
I don't think it's ever going to change. I think, we're just talking to an endless point here, but ultimately, I think that would be the one thing that could fix boxing or at least put it on the track the way it should be.
Yeah, it's hard though. You got WBC, IBF, WBA, WBO. I mean, I can't see it all just coming into one belt. I agree with you. There should be one belt at 147, one belt at every weight class. There's too many belts, and nobody knows who's the champion of what division all the time. Like your Canelos, your Furies, but Fury's got a belt. Usyk's got a belt. Like there should be one heavyweight champ only. You know what I mean?
No, no, 100%. So, I mean, because I was just kind of looking at this right now. We know these names, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
but the average
But
fan, just likes to watch the big fights, doesn't, and that's the thing about UFC. You got one heavyweight champ, you got one light heavyweight champ. It's very clear cut who's who. In
well,
boxing, you don't know who's who, what's what.
like I'm looking at the cruiserweights, okay?
Okay.
All four belts are separate, and Lawrence Oliki, Maris Brides, Arsen Gulamarayan, and Elunga Mabuku. Those are your four champions.
That's what I mean. It's just
Now
like
look, 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 look. I think they're all good. They're all solid fighters, but
yeah,
they
but
don't have
it's
the
like,
name, right? You know what I mean? The only guy I know out of that list would be Ohunga Mabuku, only because that Canelo was supposed to fight him before this
yeah, and
fight.
that's cruise for people that don't know. Cruiserweight's 200 pounds,
Yeah,
and nobody knows who those guys are. They're great, but like the average fans, like who, what? So who's gonna buy that pay per view, right? It's just kind of
yeah.
like that's what hurts boxing.
Well, I mean, I guess it's the same in any kind of combat sport,
And
really.
by the way, Canelo's going for Bivol belt, right? He's a WBA champ at 175. That's why Canelo wants to fight him. He wants to grab that belt.
No, he's on that next mission right now, man.
Yeah, and can't
That's
blame
his
him.
next mission.
And you got to
So,
give Canelo credit, man. He's a super middleweight champ at 160. He's got all four belts: WBO, IBF, WBA, and WBC. What a stud! He's gonna have 5 belts possibly here if he beats Bivol.
he beats Bivol. I'm just looking at it myself right now. So if he beats Bivol, then he's going to go after Arturo Beecher Beef,
Yeah.
and that
Oh,
lines it up.
he's gonna do a triple G after Bivol, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I guess that's his next mission. Light heavyweight at
I mean, Triple B's
175.
got one belt, 160. Got the IBF, so
You know who I'd want to see him fight at
who's
light
that?
heavyweight? Joe Smith Jr., man.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
That would be a good one. Why do you want to fight him?
Yeah, there's just so many weight classes, so many belts. I mean, at junior welterweight, Taylor
No,
has all
no,
the
no,
belts.
no, no. He's light heavyweight too. He holds so Dimitri Bivol holds one belt, Joe Smith holds the other, and Artur holds the other two in the light
Yeah,
heavyweight. So that's three
yeah.
fights right there for him in the future if he wants. But that being said, I want to see Canelo fight Benavidez. That's a fight he's ducking, I think. I think he's ducking Charlo too.
I don't know if he's. I don't want to say Canel's ducking
Maybe
Charlo.
it's not the right word. Maybe it's not the right word, but that's not the smart fight for him, so he's not going to
I
take
think
it.
what's getting on Canelo's skin is that people like me and a lot of people are saying, "Well, you lost that first fight to Triple G, which you did." So he wants to, you know what? I'm going to finish this trilogy off, send the old man to the retirement home, and then he can do all these other fights. I think that's why he's doing Triple G. I don't think he's ducking those guys. I think he needs to finish this, put an exclamation point on it, and say, "Bye, bye, old man. I'm always better than you," kind of thing, right? That's why he's doing it now. It's a trilogy because you know what I mean. If Canelo won one, Triple G won one. I mean, technically Canelo won both, but or draw on one win. So we're 1-1 here, right? You got to have that grudge match.
Yeah, but technically he's 2-0. I think it's a pointless fight. Personally.
It's a big
I
money,
just
right?
for who?
Everybody's going to want to
I
watch
think
it.
I think a lot of people think the way you and I do. I think a lot of people in boxing think the way you and I do. We already know the outcome, unless something so bloody fucking drastic happens.
I know, but Canelo
You
wants to
know,
say, "Look, guys, here it
you
is.
have nothing to prove. I mean,
It's not
every
about
fight.
proving, but he wants to prove that he thinks he won that first fight, and 90% people think he didn't. So he wants to shut everybody up.
I guess so. I guess so. I'm just playing devil's advocate against it, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So I love Triple G myself. So I want him to put Canelo down. I mean, Canelo is amazing, but I'm going for Triple G in this fight. It's unlikely he wins, but I'll be cheering for him
Yeah. Well, it should be fun. It should be fun.
as
But
long as
that
Canelo
all,
stays off that tainted meat, man. No more tainted meat, Canelo.
and that's a real thing. I've spoken to some people who deal with those kind of things. I've got to know some of those individuals who work in that field, and they said, yeah, it's legitimately possible. The amount of steroids that some of these cattle get pumped with when they're getting shipped is just insane.
Yeah,
They don't. So when a cattle rancher sells his cows, he's not paid by the cow, he's paid by the weight. So if they're driving all the way from, say, I don't know, Texas to New York, because of all the fear and the stress that the cow or the bulls are going through, they shoot them up with T-ball. It's a steroid,
yeah, I've heard about this, but the thing
right?
is, when you're a world class athlete, millionaire. You got cooks, you got trainers that weigh your food. You should know what's going in your body,
Yeah, well, I
right?
mean,
No, it never happened to anybody else. We all the boxers eat meat. Why only him?
but
It's
that's the
just
funny thing. I mean, you look at all the boxers in Mexico, right? He's the only one.
yeah. So I think he probably knew what he was doing. He was cheating a bit. He got caught. He stopped it now. But that's going to be it's going to be an asterisk by his name, just like with people like Anderson Silva and all these other guys and John Jones that got caught juicing. You put a little asterisk by there because you don't know which fights they were clean on and which ones they weren't. Did he only get caught the one fight, or was he juicing before? You don't know. And
You
the
know,
thing is,
that
like you said, no other Mexican fighters are getting tainted meat. Why only him?
well, that I don't know. I said that, but I can't be quoted on that,
Well,
man.
but the thing is, like when you're a millionaire and you got trainers and you got guys weighing your food and cooks, you should know what's going in your body.
Hey, I'm not denying anything that
So,
you're saying,
I mean,
man,
it's
but
possible he didn't know, but I don't think so.
well,
If it walks,
how do you
if it,
know that your meat is tainted? How would a cook know the meat is tainted?
well, you should know where your meat's coming from when you're world class athlete. It's not like us buying meat from Walmart here. He's getting the top of the line food, right? I mean, the guy's a machine. He's got cooks and trainers and everything, right? They tell him when to go to sleep. They tell him when to get up. You should know what's going in your body at this level, right? Especially the way they can test nowadays. They can find anything in you now. It's not like 20, 30 years ago, right? So, I mean, yeah, I think he did something. He got caught. He's clean now. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it, man. let's wrap it up here and kind of get into our evenings and relax for the night, bro. What do you have for me here? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I got a chance top five for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's say I'm gonna go chances top five. What are the worst decisions in boxing that you think were robberies,
Oh
in your
God.
opinion?
Okay. Right off the top of my head, I would have to say Sugar Ray and Hagler.
Okay, that's one.
Tyson Fury, first one against Wilder.
Yes. Okay, two.
Josh Taylor and Cottrell here most recently.
Yeah.
Um, I'm drawing a blank on two. Why don't you help me?
Bradley Pacquiao won. They gave the decision to Bradley. Terrible. And another one was, I'm just going to say Pacquiao because he's on the mind right now. When Pacquiao went to Australia and fought Jeff Horn, the teacher, and they gave the decision to Horn, and Pacquiao clearly won. Brutal.
Hmm. Hmm.
Brutal. So I missed so many bad ones. De La Hoya and Trinidad. I mean, we can go on and on, but those are the
Well, you
ones that come
get
to my head.
De La Hoya, Trinidad. Yeah, definitely. What was it? Canelo and Triple G.
Triple G. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So many.
mean,
But hopefully boxing. I mean, most times they get it right, but there's too many times they don't, and that hurts the sport, you know?
and when they don't get it right, they really don't get it right. That's the thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We don't talk about every decision like that, right?
No.
I hats off to boxing. It's rebounding. I'm so happy. It's coming back stronger, but this
Yeah.
doesn't help the sport at all. It's very I don't want to say trailer park, but it's very
Bush
amusement
League.
park,
Yeah, yeah,
bushly, county fair kind of rules sort of a deal,
yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know, man. I hope they get it right. I really do. It's stuff like that that hurts the sport. We're taking steps forward. Things are looking great. Some great fights like we've talked about here tonight. I want the best for boxing. I love boxing. Boxing is something that I
Mhm.
loved my whole life. I credit my father for all the things I love boxing. Grew up as a kid watching ABC Wide World of Sport. That's where I fell in love with Marvin Hagler. I got to see some really crazy fights, man, as a little kid, not really knowing what I was watching. But today I'm like, wow, I actually got to see that,
That's
live.
cool.
So, from that perspective, it's really cool. Um, let's see, man. Let's see what the rest of this year brings. Let's see what the future brings, man. But we're only getting started, brother. With that being said, I want to say thank you again to everybody. If you're expecting a wrestling podcast, we apologize. That will be coming next. But we want to engage our boxing fans as well. And if you aren't a boxing fan, hey, you know what? Hopefully we can help you become one or at least become a casual fan. Um, Again, so many options out there. We know there's so many options out there for you guys. So, on behalf of Mr. Bobby Sampson and Mr. Chance Michaels, we want to say thank you for leading us into your years this evening.
And in the words of the great ACDC, for those who download our podcast, we salute you.
And as always, people, please, we're getting into the weekend. So, please stay safe and remain humble. Till next time, have a great night.